Welcome back, everybody, for another episode of the Cup races. This is the second race of the Nations Cup, and this is 22 laps. You get a choice. Well, you don't get a choice. You get a choice of car, which is only two of the Red Bull cars. And you have to do racing medium, racing hard, and racing soft through the duration of this race. We've chose to start on racing medium, and we'll see how this race pans out. This is the first race, so there's no practice. We've got no brake balance going, fuel map 1, and we've just gone into the race with our own little theory on the tyres. We're going to do racing mediums, then racing hards, and racing softs to finish off. So stick with me, guys. There's a lot that happens in this race, even right up until the last corner of the last lap. So please stay tuned, and I'll be interjecting throughout the race. Also, don't forget, there is a screen on the top right there where you can see what's happening behind, so you can see all aspects going on. So just in one lap, we've moved up 5 positions from 12th to 7th with 6. And we're just going to keep trying to stay with these guys in their slipstream. Don't lose these guys in front. Another position gained there, so we're 3 laps in and we're already up to 5th from 12th, so we're really going well here, and we just need to try and catch these guys in front and grab the next pack before we pit, which will be around the 10th lap. So right now we're just trying to chase down third as we're up to 5 laps in, and we've got to 4th, which is not bad at all. Remember, people still need to pit, so this race is a long way from being finished, but the way we've progressed through the field has not been bad and put us in a good position to be coming out of this race with some sort of podium, hopefully. So we're 7 laps in, and you can see the tyres are getting a little bit worn now, losing a bit of grip. But let's jump on board from the driver's perspective and have a look at what this track looks like, chasing down third from OG Bob 1's driver perspective. Absolutely flying. Beautiful day trackside. Just need to keep up the momentum, make sure we catch these guys in front, and we'll be definitely leaving this race with a podium. So we've picked up one more position there as that guy went wide, and now third is second, and we've took his place, and we are literally bearing down on him now, adding to the pressure, and just try and keep with him as much as possible. As you see, the tyres are just getting worse and worse, trying to keep the grip, but we will not stop putting the pressure on this guy and hopefully we can catch up with first as well. So as you can see, guys, by the 10th lap, we are right on his tail now, putting the pressure on. Just making sure that we keep with this guy. If we can get past, we will. But he's doing a good job at keeping us behind. And as you see, get traction there is getting really bad because of the tyres. But we're just going to keep the pressure on and don't stop. So the end of the 10th, start of the 11th, we're going to pit in. If we go any further with our tyres like that, and as you can see, we're out on racing hards now, and we've dropped back to 5th. There's a little group behind us. I'm just going to try and keep away from them, keep our pace up on the racing hards, and continue into the race. So lap 12 now, and we've got someone behind but no one too close. We've got room in front. Let's jump on board with OG Bob 1 in the driver's perspective and see what this looks like. So the start of the 13th lap, as you can see, 2 have pitted in, so we've moved back up to 3rd. Now just keep as fast as we can to try and pull away from whoever's behind. We've got clean air in front and try and catch up to 2nd and 1st. One lap later, and now we're in pole position. But second place is getting quicker and quicker each lap and is putting the pressure on, so we need to make sure we're quick as possible, as we're going to need to be pitting in soon because our fuel's low. Not necessarily the tyres, but it's the fuel. We'll change to racing softs and that'll be our last pit. So as you can see, by the 15th, it's just first and second. Me in second up here, and he's obviously on the faster compound. He's just making up ground on me, pushing hard to try and get past, which we're not going to allow. As we come up over the hill, down the straight, he's going to grab my slipstream here. Try and get as close as possible to get the overtake. But if you watch here carefully, second makes a bad mistake. There you go. And second is off, which gives us breathing room now to push as hard as we can and end this race in the best possible position that we can. So the end of the 15th here, we run a little bit wide, but we're going into the pits to change for our last change and refuel, and we're back out of there, as you can see, on racing soft tyres. As we come out into a little pack here, we're just going to keep pushing. Hopefully other people have to still pit. Keep the pressure on as we're on the faster compound and get past these lot. So coming down the straight into the 17th lap now. As you can see, we've made our way up to 4th. And as we brake to come around this corner, we take a hit from behind, which gives us damage on the back. And also we've lost 3 positions there. So let's go back on board with OG Bob 1 from the driver's perspective and get back to chasing these guys, get them positions back. So halfway through the 18th now, and we've clawed back 2 positions, which is not too bad. It's just in 1 lap basically. We've clawed back 2 positions. I'm just going to try and keep pushing as we're on the faster compound before these tyres give out, to try and catch these guys up in front. into the last couple of laps now, guys. We're on the 20th lap and we're hunting down the guy in front, but as you can see, the two behind are catching up every lap quicker and quicker, so we just got to try and keep our pace up, make sure we don't fall back too far into the jaws of those guys behind. And the tyres are starting to wear down now as well. We've got 3 laps basically, 2.5 laps to go. Just keep it consistent, no mistakes, and we should end this race nicely. As you can see, we're getting closer to the guy in front as well, but they are chasing me down behind as well, so we'll see over the next few laps. So the second to last lap here, and our tyres are getting near on no grip whatsoever, but we are making up ground on the guy in front, but the two behind are making up ground on me. I'm pretty sure in the straights they're bump drafting, but I'm about a second behind the guy in front and they're about a second behind me, so this will get very, very sticky towards the last lap. So final lap now as we get a good exit out of there, a little bit of slip on the back end, but as you can see, those guys are even closer now. They may even be within the slipstream. Our tyres are near on shot, and then it got a tiny bit of grip, but we are making up ground on the guy in front and enough ground behind that they're not right on my tail pressuring me. So I'm just going to keep it moving and pressure this guy. Hopefully he makes a mistake. So it all comes down to this now, coming up to the final few corners. As they are right on my tail now, we're going to have to go defensive as we're braking, and a little touch there and he slides out, And we're up into second, through the line to take second. Unbelievable. Guys, if you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.